Hey guys, never give in. Listen, it's important that you understand something, before we really get into this, a lot. And that is that you need to keep looking for the truth, because hopefully what I'm hoping for is that we'll build a little family here, so that we can help each other. I always need help. I don't know about you guys, but believe me, the weather today, it makes it almost impossible to work, because I work outside. I barely make enough money to get through another day, but I'm not unhappy. All right, and I want to try to bring some of that to you, because being together is a lot happier than being alone. And if that's how you feel, I want to try and make that stronger. Don't believe everything that you hear just because somebody says it and they seem to be better or stronger, than you because they have more stuff and things. Don't believe that at all. Okay? Believe this. Believe this. Okay? Here's another one. This is one of my favorite ones. It's a study Bible. It's really good. This is another one, an ESV, an English Standard Version. I've got 15 of these, okay, for cross-referencing all kinds of things that, you learn and study and find out. Study every day. Learn every day. Read every day, because God says, if you draw yourself closer to me, I'll draw myself closer to you. And you won't believe how good that feels, just to know that you're much more in tune than others, okay? And as an example, what I'll use is, people say that God has a name, and then they argue about what his name is, and then divide themselves up, okay? And I'm not going to use anyone as an example, because that's not fair either. Don't do that, okay? But let's just say, for an example, that they say God has a name. So go to Exodus 3, chapter 3, and we start with verse 12. This is a conversation between Moses and God himself, okay? God's telling Moses, and he's on Mount Sinai, he's telling Moses to go into Egypt and rescue the Israelites. He wants him to go to the Pharaoh and tell him, and Moses has seen the burning bush on top of Mount Sinai. But who am I? This is verse 11. But who am I to appear before Pharaoh? Moses asked God. How can you expect me to lead the Israelites out of Egypt? I'm just Moses. Then God told him, I will be with you, and this will serve as proof that I have sent you. When you have brought the Israelites out of Egypt, you will return here to worship God at this very mountain. That's Mount Sinai. But Moses protested. I don't know if I do that. If I go to the people of Israel and tell them, the God of your ancestors has sent me to you, they won't believe me. They will ask, which God are you talking about? What is his name? Remember, the Greeks had, how many gods? They had a God of lightning and thunder and running and jumping around and stuff. The God of Israel wants to be just the one God, the one true God. Which God are you talking about? What is his name? He's asking God specifically, well, what's your name? Because everybody had names. He was Moses, and there were Joshua and the son of Nun, and so on and so on. Then what should I tell them? God replied. Check it. And there are all of these Bibles. I am the one who always is. Just tell them, I am sent me to you. God also said, tell them, the Lord, the God of your ancestors, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This will be my name forever. It has always been my name, and it will be used throughout all generations. Now, if you want to argue about whether or not this is true or not, okay, this is God speaking to Moses at a time when God spoke to man. God doesn't speak to man anymore. He stopped speaking to man because we have to prove ourselves worthy again. The other reason that God does not have a name other than Yahweh was, the Jewish word without vowels, okay, and the closest you could pronounce that would be Yahweh, is because God is the creator. There's no one before God. And because God is the creator, there was no one to name him. God can have a title because he's God or he's Lord. But since there was no one before him to name him, like I had a mother and I had a father, and they said, this is our son, we shall call him, you see, never give in. Of course God doesn't have a name. There was no one before him. He was the creator. I didn't know that 5 years ago, 2 years ago, because God is drawing me closer to him. And with that comes more understanding, more blessings. Stick with us. Stay with us. Join us. Never give in.